Hello and welcome to Members on the Mic with the Troy Chamber of Commerce, where we connect our Troy Chamber members as they give us a glimpse into their company and share some of the business lessons they've learned along the way. Hi, everyone. I'm Tara Thompson-Cusack, President and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce, and I am joined today by the lovely and, I say amazing. I need more words than amazing. Spectacular. Glorious.
I'm like,
glorious. I don't know. Glorious. Co-host and vice president of the chamber, Sheila Denstead.
Hi, everyone.
That was so not glorious, that high. That's all right. I'd like to first take a moment to thank our presenting sponsor, Trion Solutions. Stay tuned for our very first commercial break where you can learn how you can rely on Trion. Sheila, we got a great show ahead of us today. So why don't you give us a little idea who's our first guest?
All right. Well, I'd love to. Today, I'm very excited to introduce, and I turned my head and I apologize. We just had a whole conversation on that. Theresa Doan, Corporate Social Responsibility Manager at Genisys Credit Union. Theresa is a proven marketing and events veteran with more than 20 years of experience in corporate events, sponsorships, and promotion activation. Prior to joining Genisys Credit Union, Theresa was Vice President of Groups and Events at Jimmy John's Field, where she oversaw corporate group events, community events, and nonprofit fundraisers. Before landing at Jimmy John's, she was Director of Corporate Development at Palace Sports and Entertainment, where she directed sponsorships and partnering initiatives for the Detroit Pistons. It's written here, DTE Energy Music Theater. I'm going to say Pine Knob.
Yes, please.
It is Pine Knob.
It is Pine Knob.
Yet we do love our partners, DTE. Just saying.
And Meadowbrook Music Festival. And I don't want to leave out the fact that she's also the vice chair, thank you very much, of the Troy Chamber Board of Directors. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, Theresa.
Thank
and
you.
next year, you'll be chair. So I can't wait to see all the wonderful things and ideas that come our way. But I just want to say, I think from the first moment I met you, I was drawn to your energy and passion for what you do. I think it's really interesting that you always thrive out in the community. And it's really important to interact and communicate. Can you tell us why you find this to be so important?
I actually love being out in the community. Love it.
It's not technical. You just like people. So good.
Well, and it's just really important, and even looking at it from the Genisys Credit Union point of view. So being out in the community is our opportunity to, I guess, showcase what we do, but it's also an opportunity to just help the communities and give back. So one of the things that credit unions are known for is people helping people and improving our communities. And that comes in a lot of different forms. And, one of the things that I really enjoy is every time I'm in the community, I'm always meeting new people, which is the highlight of my day. But just listening to people say to you, thank you for being here. We love what you do. Oh, Genisys is everywhere. Mm-hmm. And somebody will always yell from across the event, that's my credit union. So it's a great time being involved in the community.
I do actually have a question, though, before we move to the next one. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't understand the differences between banks and credit unions. Mm-hmm. Would you mind just giving like a quick, what's the difference?
There's one simple difference. Banks are for profit and credit unions are nonprofit.
Oh.
So a lot of people don't even know that. So we are owned by the members. Banks are, they're in business to make money and give back to their investors. And credit unions make money and give it back to the members. So a lot of what we do, with our profits, we can give those back in better loan rates. Or one of the things that I love telling people when I'm talking about Genisys, we have a checking account that earns interest. And people, right, that's the response I get, a checking account that earns it. And it's 4%, 4.07.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. And so people really don't realize that. And that's part of what we can do as a nonprofit. And we're also more likely to trust a first-time loan than a bank may be. We have a lot of first-time vehicles that are financed through credit unions and specifically through Genisys. And that's a great question. People really don't understand.
Honestly, I've learned more. I mean, I did know a little bit, but I didn't really understand the depth of it. So that actually kind of dumbed it down for me. So thank you.
Well, and if you really go way, way back, which I don't know the history all the way back to the start of credit unions, but they were, companies that formed these for their members. So it was just a better way of banking for the company staff. And the credit unions have grown where now members don't necessarily have to work for a specific company to join the credit union.
Well, and it's truly service oriented, which is nice to see too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our staff is it's incredible, like how happy they are, how friendly they are, how they're just looking to help.
I will say that I was at Genisys a few weeks ago and I ran out of checks and I needed one in like 1 hour. And she's just like, it doesn't take an hour. I can just print you some. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Okay, great. I'm on my way somewhere and because I don't use checks anymore. But I went to Genisys and they took care of me for it. So.
Well, you talk about being out and networking and being in the community. Sometimes we encounter people at these events that we're not only looking for clients, but we're talking to all types of different industries and such. And sometimes when we're talking with those folks, we realize maybe they're not a fit for us, but there may be a fit for a potential client, for someone you know. How do you go about kind of disseminating, picking, looking at those folks and figuring out who goes where and moving forward with conversations?
I think it just tends to happen organically if you pay attention and if you're truly interested and curious. I love meeting people. I've actually been told that I'm a weirdo magnet. So people...
Same.
I actually believe that. People will come up to me and tell me the strangest things. And my answer back to them is usually, oh, really? Tell me more. And you get into these conversations and things just make sense, like where this person should be linked. Maybe it's not somebody that's going to be a person I can do business with, but it's somebody I know. Oh, you need to meet so-and-so. And I would say that's actually, that's my tip, my number one tip. Every single time when I'm trying to give advice on what you should do with your career, and it's something I probably talk about daily to my staff because they're all young in their 20s. Meet people, care about them, ask questions, because they will stay with you. Mm-hmm. I've got connections that go way back in my career, and I can still run into them. And, a funny story, I was in Mackinac. Somebody that I worked with 20 years ago heard me laughing imagine that, on one of the decks at Mission Point and knew immediately it was me and came up and said, oh my God, Theresa, I haven't worked with her in 20 years.
Well, but it's interesting too, because like we see all the time at networking events of sometimes people don't understand networking events. It doesn't mean you're just searching for your next client.
Right.
And I think we see that sometimes of like, oh, I need to know these 6 people. I'm going to hunt them down. And you see them pacing to try to get to them. And there's so many other people that they don't realize what that relationship could be.
Right.
And that relationship maybe isn't now. It could be 15 years from now when you're like, I remember that person. And I think those long-lasting impressions sometimes matter more than to just try to go on the hunt for the next client.
Oh, those are the worst.
Yeah. Back to the weirdo.
The ones that just reach out to you, or they want to link to you on LinkedIn, or they're sending you emails, but it's just when it's only to get your business, those are the ones that they don't feel good. And you're exactly right. The chances of, me not being the right fit for them is probably strong, but me knowing someone that's a fit for them is probably stronger. So yeah, just talk to people and don't worry about the business.
I like how we can simplify it. Just talk to people, ask questions, and care. It seems like pretty easy things to look at.
Yeah.
But I think this would be a great time to take a quick little break and hear a word from our presenting sponsor, Trion Solutions. We'll be right back, everyone.
You dreamed of starting a company, not an HR department, but your business has grown fast, and so have the complexities of payroll and taxes, benefits administration, and other HR functions. That's why your business needs a professional employer organization like Trion Solutions. Trion provides businesses of all sizes access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Trion, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTrion.com.
You can always rely on Trion.
Welcome back to Members on the Mic with the Troy Chamber of Commerce. We're here with Theresa Doan with Genisys Credit Union. Theresa, Genisys has always been dedicated to giving back to the community. I know you brought that up a little bit in the beginning, but why is it so important to Genisys to give back?
So I think the reason that we give back, and it's actually really one of the strong points of what we do. And I think it's because we just want to improve the communities. So, to be a business in a community and maybe close your eyes to that and pretend it's not there just doesn't make sense. And so one of the campaigns that we're working on right now, we work with Lighthouse, and we work with them a lot. But right now, we are working to renovate their commercial kitchen. And the purpose of doing that, and the one thing that we've really learned partnering with Lighthouse, is that their mission is to end homelessness. And when we started getting into that campaign, and the reason that we went so deep and got so close to it is because someone in their organization told me how many school kids are homeless. Mm-hmm. How many kids in Oakland County schools are homeless? And the number is much bigger than you think it is. Mm-hmm. And so when I heard that, I thought, oh my God, how can we get more involved? And so by us being involved in their commercial kitchen campaign, which our staff has backed 100%, because we'll do internal campaigns to raise money. And we actually hit our goal before we even introduced the program to all of the branches.
That's amazing.
It was absolutely amazing. And we exceeded the goal, stretched the goal, and still beat the goal. And it was because the employees really cared about it. So we're excited to take that project to the next step. But there's just all kinds of community give back and improving the community. We're partnering with the Clinton River. We're going to take Team Day and go to the dirtiest spots in the Clinton River that we can find and pull all the junk out of the river.
Well, and you're giving sometimes financially. You're raising money sometimes financially, but I think when you're engaging your team and your staff and having them come out and see the impact, I think that's a huge part of making you guys what you are, because you truly are, like you said, a part of the community. Mm-hmm. But now it's getting your hands dirty a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, we're out there. We're out there a lot.
Walking the walk.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of giving back, I think this is a time I should interject with Tara. Did you know?
Well, I wonder what we could possibly be talking about with our did you know and the word giving. What a good hint. What a good hint.
Did you guys know that the Troy Chamber hosts a nonprofit management conference every year? This actually will be our 17th year. Wow. This affordable management conference is designed for nonprofit professionals, board members, and volunteers. Attendees have the opportunity to participate in a variety of seminars to help them improve their operations in 7 core areas specifically geared toward nonprofit organizations. Now, here's my favorite part.
Mine too. Oh, I shouldn't know this. Sorry, I don't know this.
She knows nothing. Did you know that the Troy Chamber nonprofit member, that you can actually have an opportunity to share in the revenue from the conference? That's right. We share the revenue with our NPN members. So not only is it a great education, they also get funds to support their missions. To learn more, please go to troychamber.com. We have a nonprofit link, and we have a way of looking and getting involved and becoming a Troy Chamber nonprofit member.
Yeah, and I love that we do this, and I think that is a big differentiator for us, because we also believe in giving and making sure that we're sharing the wealth. Because as a nonprofit, you need that constant education, but you have no funds. Mm-hmm. So it's that piece of saying, hey, you join our chamber, you're going to be able to get education every month. You'll be able to go to a conference as well. And honestly, you get what you paid for the membership back in a donation, and usually a little bit more that actually serves your mission. So I don't want to say it's free for a nonprofit to join, but it ends up being free for numerous years. So it's just a wonderful way to do it. But thank you, Sheila, for teaching me all about that today. I knew nothing of that sort.
Education. It's all about education.
Education is key. So, Theresa, we'll get back to you again. I think what's so interesting about you is that, when times are tough, you're still smiling. There's a positivity about you, and I'm drawn to you. And we laugh because when we talk about connections, we have mutual friends that we didn't know till later on, and it just showcases because you're a good human being. But how do you keep that positivity and that great attitude, even in the tough times?
You just have to kind of look at it as like, why not, right?
It's true.
Why not be happy? Like, all you have to do is just really like focus on the stuff that's fun and positive. And a really great example is we were in an event last week, and a couple different people that I knew were there. And I asked one person, "Hey, how was the event?" And, "Oh, this wasn't right, and it should have been over here, and if we would have done this, and they didn't really do this." And then I asked another person, "Hey, how was the event?" "Oh, it was fantastic. Look at the pictures that I got." And, I really stopped and paid attention to that and thought, like, how do I come across to people? And it's all in how you look at it. It's how every day you could wake up and be like, "Oh, it's Monday and I've got so much to do and this person isn't going to be able to help me." But why do that? Like, just be happy, and life's a heck of a lot more fun.
I think that's a lesson we all need, because I know I beat myself up a lot about like, oh, that one thing didn't happen. How are we going to fix that one thing when you forget all those wonderful things that did occur?
Well, I still like to do that, 'cause I'm a fixer.
We're still nitpicky. It's all right.
I still like to fix because that's just my personality but it's more like, how do we prevent that from happening again?
Yes.
Not, I can't believe that just happened. And especially with my background, being in the event world for so long, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen. Every single event, something's not going to go the way you had planned, but you move around it, you fix it, and nobody knows it happened. So it's good.
Is that smile through the tears moment?
Yes.
Yep, been there.
Never. Well, Theresa, thank you so much for being here today. Is there any one last tidbit of knowledge or information you want to share with our listeners?
Well, I just think that everything does need to be planned and strategic. But, it's like, I guess, when I was trying to learn to golf, which was a total disaster. So not really someone you should invite on your golf team. But I think that they tell you in golf, like, just keep doing it, and it's muscle memory, and that's how you develop your swing. You can do the same thing, like in your day-to-day life or in your job or in your business. The more that you focus on being positive, then that'll just start coming natural. You won't have to wake up every day and tell yourself to be happy. It'll start to happen. And that's the same thing with meeting people. People go to networking events and are terrified to speak to people. Like, just rip off the Band-Aid and do it. And then hopefully that person will then maybe introduce you to another person. And then eventually it does get easier. And so I guess that's the one thing that I would encourage people is, don't give up on it. And if it doesn't seem to be working, eventually it will. You'll meet the right people.
We all do.
We all do.
No, but I think you're right about that in those networking opportunities. I think it also takes guts when you are the happy, positive ones to go to that person and say, "Hey, let me help you introduce you." Like, I think we always have to step out of our own and say, well, that person needs our help. And I think that's really critical too.
I do. I really do believe that too. I believe that especially, and I hate to like put them all into the same bucket, but we're so stuck on email and text message and not speaking in person and not meeting in person that it is us that need to step in and say, hey, let me take you here, or let me invite you to this event, and let me introduce you to people, because it's not something that younger executives are comfortable with.
It's a different world.
It's a different world.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and being able and being flexible to be here today. And we appreciate that too. And you shared some great information with our members. Can't wait to get it out to them.
Thank you.
And that's all we have here today on Members on the Mic with the Troy Chamber of Commerce. Special thanks to Theresa Doan with Genisys Credit Union for joining us today. For more information on upcoming events or how to join the Troy Chamber, go to troychamber.com. That's all we have today. Have a great rest of your day. And special thanks to Trion Solutions. Bye.
Thank you.